Have you ever been faced with a moral dilemma that made you question your values and beliefs? Today we will dive into morally ambiguous scenarios that will test your values and decision-making skills, while keeping you entertained throughout. Get ready to be challenged by these 3 gripping scenarios that will push you to your limits. Let's begin. Dilemma number 1. You and your spouse have been blessed with 12-year-old twins, each exceptionally talented in very different areas. One twin has shown a remarkable gift for music, playing the piano with a virtuosity well beyond their years. You can tell how much they love playing the piano as they get better each day. Their music teachers have repeatedly told you that with proper training and exposure, they could become a world-renowned pianist. On the other hand, the other twin has demonstrated an extraordinary talent for gymnastics, winning numerous local competitions and catching the eye of national coaches who believe they have Olympic potential. However, as your twins' talents have grown, so have the costs associated with nurturing them. The musician needs a high-quality piano, private lessons from a renowned instructor, and the opportunity to attend prestigious music camps and competitions. The gymnast requires specialized coaching, travel expenses for national competitions, and access to state-of-the-art training facilities. Your family's financial situation is stable but limited. You can only afford to fully support one child's passion. Investing in both would mean spreading resources too thin, likely preventing either of them from reaching their full potential. One evening, you and your spouse sit down with the twins to discuss the future. They both express their deep love and commitment to their respective passions, and their eyes light up when they talk about their dreams. The musician envisions performing on the world's greatest stages, while the gymnast dreams of standing on the Olympic podium. Do you invest in the musical education of one twin, believing in their potential to become a celebrated pianist, even though it means the other might have to give up their Olympic dreams? Do you commit to the gymnastics career of the other twin, supporting their journey to potentially become an Olympian, while the musician's talent remains a cherished but underdeveloped gift? Or do you try your best to support both, knowing that most likely neither of them would reach their full potential? What would you do? Dilemma number 2. You are the warden of a maximum security prison, a role you have fulfilled with integrity and dedication for over a decade. The prison houses some of the most dangerous criminals in the city, including one particularly notorious individual convicted of heinous crimes. This individual, known for his ruthlessness and complete lack of remorse, is serving multiple life sentences for a series of brutal massacres and other violent offenses, which have left many families in mourning. His release would undoubtedly lead to more bloodshed and terror in the community. One evening, you receive an anonymous phone call. The voice on the other end is calm but menacing. They inform you that they have detailed information about you and your family, your spouse, your children, even your parents. They know your routines, your habits, and where your loved ones are at any given moment. The caller demands that you facilitate the release of this dangerous criminal within the next 48 hours, using a fabricated clerical error as the excuse. If you refuse, they promise to inflict unimaginable harm on those you care about most. Panicked and torn, you consider the options. You know that releasing this criminal would unleash a wave of violence and fear across the city. The thought of the lives that would be ruined and the innocent people who would suffer weighs heavily on your conscience. However, the threat to your family is immediate and personal. The thought of them being harmed because of your refusal is unbearable. You discreetly reach out to law enforcement, but they tell you that the nature of the threat makes it difficult to guarantee your family's safety within the tight deadline. But they assure you that they could do their best to protect your loved ones for as long as their resources can bear it. As the hours tick by, the pressure mounts, and you are forced to make an agonizing decision. Do you comply with the blackmailer's demands, releasing the dangerous criminal and sacrificing your job and reputation to protect your loved ones, knowing the havoc it will wreak on the city? Or do you refuse, risking the lives of your family in the hope that law enforcement can protect them and that the criminal will remain behind bars where he belongs? What would you do? Dilemma number 3. You and your best friend have been inseparable since childhood. You've supported each other through every major life event, from navigating school challenges and dealing with family issues, to celebrating career milestones and personal achievements. Your bond is unbreakable, and you've always believed that you'd do anything for each other. Recently, both of you decided to take a well-deserved vacation to a remote tropical island. It was meant to be the trip of a lifetime, an adventure where you could unwind and make unforgettable memories together. However, the trip takes a terrifying turn when the island is hit by a sudden and violent storm, leaving you both stranded and cut off from any means of communication with the outside world. As days turn into weeks, food and fresh water become scarce. The island's isolation and the threat of wild animals add to the dire situation. Despite the worsening conditions, your friendship remains a source of strength. Together, you forage for food, build makeshift shelters, and keep each other's spirits up with stories and humor. But the strain of survival is evident. You're both growing weaker by the day. One afternoon, while exploring a new part of the island in search of resources, you stumble upon an old, hidden bunker. Inside, you find a small stockpile of food and a radio with enough battery to send out one distress signal. However, the bunker is designed to accommodate only one person comfortably, with enough supplies for a single individual to survive until rescue arrives, which could take weeks. As you both realize the implications, your best friend insists that you should take the supplies and use the radio to save yourself. They argue that you have a family who depends on you and that they would never forgive themselves if they survived at your expense. You, on the other hand, can't fathom the idea of leaving them behind, knowing that without the supplies, their chances of survival are slim to none. Do you accept your best friend's selfless offer, using the supplies and radio to save yourself, knowing that you are abandoning the person who has been your rock throughout your life? Or do you refuse to leave them behind, choosing instead to share the supplies as best as you can, despite the high likelihood that neither of you will survive long enough to be rescued? What would you do? These dilemmas aren't just hypothetical, they mirror the kind of tough decisions that can test the very core of our values and beliefs. Each one forces us to weigh our personal desires against the greater good, and our own safety against that of others. So, what would you do in these situations? We want to hear from you. Comment down below with your thoughts on each dilemma. Which choices would you make, and why? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another intriguing discussion.